Welcome to Focus on Lightworkers on EWN or Enlightened World Network. I'm your host, Dr. Ruth Anderson. I'm the founder of Enlightened World Network and enlightenedworld.online. I'm an award-winning author and a spiritual counselor, providing individualized, transformational experiences for my clients using Holy Fire Reiki, energy work, and connection with the spiritual divinity, including the Divine Mother, Archangels Michael, Gabriel, and Raphael. I would like to thank you for taking time out of your busy schedules to listen in. This show is called Focus on Lightworkers. When I talk about lightworkers, I'm referring to anyone who purposefully brings divine light into our world. Focus on Lightworkers is our opportunity to introduce some of these amazing people, some who make careers out of their lightworking skills and some who don't. Each of these lightworkers impact others positively and help to make the world a kinder place. I marvel at how Spirit uses synchronicities, divine timing, and coincidences to bring people into our lives. Oftentimes, those people help us to move forward in our personal growth. My becoming connected with our guest lightworker today was one of those synchronistic connections. A colleague in common led to our introduction, and then Anumani provided me with the most soulful, channeled sound healing. I was quite touched with her work. So with that, please join me in welcoming our guest, Anumani Santos. Hello, Anumani.
Hello, and
So,
hello to everyone who will be listening to this.
thank you. So wonderful to have you with us. And I would like to share some of your background before we get started. So Anumani Santos is a modern-day shaman, motivational speaker, award-winning author, coach, and artist. She enriches audiences with her powerful and transformational presence, opening hearts and inspiring minds to new possibilities and a deeper knowing of who they really are. Her greatest passion is empowering transformational leaders, entrepreneurs, healers, messengers, and conscious businesses to understand their reason for being and bring their gifts and soul's genius to the world. Anumani is based in Garnet Valley, Pennsylvania. She is the author of the international best-selling book, Unmasking Your Soul, and contributing author to the award-winning book, Pebbles in the Pond, Wave 4. To find out more about Anumani, visit www.anumanispeaks.com. Is that right, Anumani? Or is there something else in there? Anumani, it looks like it, is that exactly right on the website address?
Yep.
Okay.
www.anumanispeaks.com.
Okay, and Anumani is spelled Anumani.
Yes.
Speaks.com. Perfect. So thank you so much for being with us. And I cannot wait to hear what all you do, because I received just a tiny little snippet of what you do. So can you tell us, what exactly is it that you do?
Sure. So my specialty is working with mostly women. I do have male clients as well who are looking to really embrace their gifts more deeply. Sometimes they know there's something more. They don't know what it is. Sometimes they may have an inkling of what it is, but they're scared and don't know how to step further into it. And many times I'm helping to confirm something that is already there. I like to think of myself as a way shower, a guide to the truth that is already within you. So the title of my book, Unmasking Your Soul, really is that I'm a specialist in helping you connect with your soul. However you define that, for me, it's the aspect of you that is connected to all that is. It's bigger than your human body, and helping you to really begin to form a deeper relationship so that this part of you which really holds all the wisdom that you need to know, can guide you on your journey. And so we begin to go into the places energetically, sometimes connected to past lives, sometimes connected to this life, where you may have certain blockages, limiting beliefs, inner critics, shadow, whatever it may be. And we start to peel that back like an onion to get to the core of who you really are, and really helping the person gain more confidence over time, to trust their own intuition, to trust the guidance of their soul, and to really embrace and embody their gifts. So I'm an activator as well. I activate the Christ consciousness in people. I help them. If they're a healer, I will open the channels for their healing gifts. Each person is different, but there's always some level of initiation and activation that's happening over the course of time of our working together. And I do that through sometimes individual sessions. If somebody may purchase like a healing package of 3 or 6 sessions, and then many times through coaching program. And I have 3 and 6 month coaching programs. And the coaching programs go much deeper into the work that I channeled in my book, Unmasking Your Soul, where we begin to help the individual unmask and embody aspects of their soul. And there's 12 aspects that are part of what I channeled that really represent a virtue, a soul virtue, like divine love or divine power. And there's a progression to this journey. And we start with divine love and end in chamber 12 with divine Christ consciousness. So through this journey, I'm helping them remove what's in the way of embodying that specific virtue. And it was a download that I received several years ago, and was told that this was the foundation of the work that I was here to teach.
You know, I could take an hour just to unpack all of the different things that you just said. But let's talk about that download aspect for a minute, because I think for a number of the listeners, the thought of receiving a download is foreign to them. So I know what I have experienced in receiving downloads. What was that like for you, and who did you receive those downloads from?
Sure. So a lot of my experiences, I guess I would term as very mystical, where I see myself being taken into a temple or a specific plane of consciousness. And when I was getting downloads around the book, I remember being taken into this, it was like an etheric library. And there was a symbol, and I work a lot with symbols. Your listeners, some may be familiar with sacred geometry, like the flower of life. There's different symbols out there that are used to open portals, to bring in specific energies. So there was a symbol on the floor of this library, and I was asked to sit in the middle of this symbol. And there was a galactic guide that was present, and they activated this symbol, and I started to feel all this energy just coming into my body. And this happened several times. It was a series of experiences like that over time I would get information. So the first time it happened, I felt all this energy coming into my body, and then I started to feel symbols coming into my body. So immediately after, I actually just sat down and started drawing them out. I didn't know what they meant. It turned out that the symbols represented portals for each of these soul chambers that were going to be in the book. So each chamber has a particular symbol, and there's 12 symbols. that was the first part of what I received. You can think of it as a transmission, that this symbol that I was sitting in was activating something within me to allow the information to transmit into me so that I could write it on a piece of paper. Everyone is different. I know for some people they may experience something like that, where they may be in meditation, they receive a word or words or phrases. Sometimes automatic writing happens where you're just writing what's coming through you. It's a very similar experience that I had. And over time, I continued to be taken to this etheric library and different planes of, consciousness. There were different guides involved throughout the process. I work with a lot of different beings, both, I would say, more earthly ascended masters of light plus galactic beings. And it came to a point where some of that transformed into working more directly with Christed beings. So like Jesus and Buddha, who were transmitting some of the information that was needed in the last part of the book. So that it's broken up into 3 sections. Truth is the first 4 chambers, where we're really helping the individual connect more with what is their big why, their mission on this earth plane. And then light, which is about a deeper connection with your soul, that light part of you. And then healing, which is the embodiment of all that. And you can think of that as kind of like the merging of your soul more deeply with your human essence, so that that soul part of you can help you live from that place on a daily basis. And so it took me about 15 months to write the book. And again, I would write, and then there were times where I had to put it to the side because I had to shift through something that was being triggered within me, because as we write, all the places that need to heal start to surface. So what's in the shadow starts to come up. And I certainly experienced that throughout the course. And they would say, okay, well, you're not in the right vibration. So I would put it to the side and work through something and then start writing again.
So many similarities with my work, actually. So it's really fun to hear how this has come alive in your life. So my last book was called Listening to Light. So when you were talking about the light part of that, I was like, oh, I really want to hear what they were telling you, because I know what I was hearing from them. So that's really exciting. So were you already open to receiving this kind of information? Can you tell us about your past? What is it that got you to this point where you were actually in a place of being open to hearing these messages?
Sure, lots of inner work. I had, I would say that I used the term asleep. I was still asleep for a good part of my life. And in 2003, I had a dream. And so most of my life I spent in corporate environment, and was in corporate environment when I had this dream. And it was a time in my life where I could feel my soul calling me forward. I didn't have those words before the dream. This is kind of in retrospect, calling me forward. There was something calling me forward saying, there's something else you're here to do. And there was a lot of unhappiness and sadness within me. I was in a difficult marriage. My work was long hours. My body was very stressed, really going through what some might call a dark night of the soul, where there's all this stuff happening inside, lots of turmoil. I couldn't put words to it then, but I knew that I was very unhappy. Although on the outside, most people thought I was happy and successful, on the inside, I was very broken. and I don't like to use that term because I believe we're all whole, but at the time, that's kind of how my ego phrased it, of this brokenness happening within me. And it was October of 2003, and it was a very lucid dream. I get a lot of information through dreams, but there's only been a couple of times when I can remember where I had such a lucid dream where it feels so real, and I can still remember the details of it today.
Right, right.
And in the dream, so at the time I was working in New York City for a consulting firm. So in the dream, I'm actually in an elevator in a skyscraper. And I always like to say that, the divine uses symbols and images that we can recognize and resonate with. And I'm in the elevator with 3 other women. And all of a sudden, the cable of the elevator breaks loose, and we start shooting down this building, and it makes a hole through the side of the building and starts just skirting over this muddy river. And I now know that the muddiness of it were the emotions of the place where I was in at the time. And the doors are open to the sky, so I can see the sky above. And what first caught my attention was a woman on the left bank of the river, which I now know was my guardian angel. She was all dressed in white, just radiating in this beautiful bright light. And she pulls me out of the elevator. And I remember losing my wedding ring in the dream, and I'm looking for it. And obviously that became symbolic of what was coming forth. But the most salient part of the dream was the voice I heard at the end. For me, it was the first time I truly feel I heard God's voice, what I call God, the source of all that is, creator, higher power, whatever term you like to use. The voice was so powerful. And the voice said to me, "My child, I have a mission for you. You're not going to understand what it is, but be patient, because in time it will all be revealed." And I didn't know what that mission was when I woke up, but I knew that I needed to leave my unhealthy marriage. And for the first time, that voice gave me the courage, because I think deep down, I already knew this was coming, and we had actually separated and gotten back together. But it's like I didn't have that willpower, that strength to move forward until I had this dream. And right before the dream, I had been having these fainting spells. It was the sign of my crown wanting to open up to really connect in. And I think that because of experiences I had as a child, I had closed that part off, because I remember having very angelic dreams when I was a young girl, flying dreams, and feeling like I was with the angels. But as life took over, there was a part of me that didn't feel I would be accepted. And so it's like I shut that part off. And in that moment, in that instant, my crown opened, I was awakened. I didn't know what I was awakened to, but I immediately took steps to leave my unhealthy relationship. And that, taking that step, opened the doorway for what happened next.
To be able to be in that place of openness where you could hear what
Yes, meeting people that could help me on my journey. Taking meditation classes. I didn't know what meditation was, but knew that I needed to start doing it, and took a class. And it was in that class where a woman came up to me who I did not know, total stranger, at the end of the class said, "What do you do for a living?" And I was in marketing at the time. And I said, "Well, I'm in marketing." She goes, "Do you know you're here to be a healer?"
Wow.
And I received it. I didn't know what that meant, but I received it. And subsequently, that's what kept happening. My gifts organically started opening up as I started doing this work. I met an energy healer through a friend. I started taking some of his classes, learning about energy healing. And I remember one of the first gifts that came through was art for me. I always had a passion for art as a child, never had taken an art class, but even while working at this company that I was in, they had a craft fair for all the employees. And a woman who worked in sales had brought in these beautiful paintings of a nude woman, like in these three poses, beautiful pottery. I had no idea she was so gifted. And that inspired me in that day. I received this message like, you need to do something creative. So I went to Michael's Arts and Crafts, and I just started walking through the art aisle, not knowing what my medium was, and bought some acrylics and some drawing paper and pastels and pencils. And it turned out my medium was pastels. And my first painting is called Spiritual Awakening, and it's a nude woman. And I discovered after years of painting these that they had soul messages. And I use them now as soul oracle cards when I work with people, when I do workshops. People always get a kick out of it because they always pick exactly what they're meant to. And it's like I'm bridging to their soul, whatever it is that their soul wants them to know in that moment. So that painting, Spiritual Awakening, was about building a deeper acceptance for who I am. And I didn't know at the time that was the purpose of that painting, but energetically to help me and anybody else who picks it to begin to embody a deeper acceptance of who they are and not be afraid to be seen in the world in the fullness of who they are. And what I mean by that is both your spiritual expression as well as your human expression.
So thinking, just envisioning you as a coach for someone, I'm so getting this vision of you bringing in all of the aspects of that person to help them see body, mind, soul connection. And it's as if you're an artist helping them to bring in all of the parts of them to create this one beautiful finished product, if you will, that is the person in front of you. I just see you doing that.
I love that, because in my book, I actually call it the canvas of your soul.
Okay, there we go.
Thank you for saying that, because that is what I'm doing, is helping the person bring together all the aspects that make them who they are.
And I would imagine, I'm speaking for women across the country, just because I'm speaking for me, I imagine that there are aspects of themselves that they probably have not seen for a very long time, or have for one reason or another shut it down, thinking it's not acceptable. As you said, it's not good enough, it's not okay. And I'm wondering, is part of what you do when you're coaching is to help people see and acknowledge those parts of themselves that they haven't seen for a very long time, or maybe don't even know that they exist?
Yes, absolutely. It could be something that was said to them, like, you're stupid or you're never going to amount to anything. And that becomes a belief in their system that then doesn't allow maybe something that they have felt passionate towards to actually emerge or birth through them, because that piece of consciousness now believes like, oh, I can't do this, or I don't have a creative bone in my body. I've heard people say that to me, and I actually attract a lot of people who are creative musicians. I use my voice a lot, which was part of the progression for me of moving from the art and then starting to move into the voice. And, channeling really just 5 or 6 years ago, even though the dream was in 2003, it took me that long to get the stuff that was in the way of that particular gift coming through. So I attract a lot of people who are like me, who have all these hidden treasures, right? And they don't know they're there, or maybe somebody made them believe that that really wasn't a hidden treasure, that they should suppress that.
Right. Would you say that the bulk of your clients are already on some sort of journey?
Yes, most of them are spiritually awakened. Some more advanced than others. The work in my book is very deep work, so that tends to attract people who, you know, are teachers, are spiritual teachers, are here to do write books and get messages out and really help with the shifting of the consciousness and the ascension of this earth plane. So most of the people that I work with tend to be open in some way, different degrees of openness and awakening, but definitely. I tend not to work too much with people who maybe need to have a deeper, what's the right word? Because I'm not trying to label people, but most people that I work with have had some sort of spiritual experience, be it reading a book like a Marianne Williamson, and so they start opening themselves out to believing in something bigger, you know, a higher power. I don't tend to work with people in trying to convert them or open them up to spirituality. Most people who work with me, they know that they're meant to work with me.
And I do believe that spirit puts us in alignment with the people that are supposed to be instrumental in our journeys.
Yes.
So that makes perfect sense, that the folks that would come to you, there's a reason they're coming to you and not going to somebody else.
Yes.
Yeah. The other thing that I was thinking while you were talking was, had you not walked through your own life experience and then either coached yourself or went to others and received coaching, I'm not sure you'd be as effective in doing what you do, because you can help people really come through a journey having been through a journey yourself.
Absolutely. I believe that everything we experience is part of the divine orchestration of the journey we're on, and that as we walk that journey and go through our own experiences, then we are able to help others, guide them to that same place. So absolutely, I've been through, you know, health issues, near-death experience, lots of different experiences that opened the doorway for me to be able to do this work. And it's interesting, I look back now, the marriage of, you know, I started my career as an electrical engineer, so very left brain.
That's right.
And now I'm marrying both worlds. I can navigate that because the spirit part is coming in now to help navigate that left brain, even when I'm doing, you know, process work. It's a different way of being and doing that I know I'm here to teach also in corporate environments.
I was
And,
going to
and
ask
so,
you about that.
yeah.
When you do work in corporate environments, what do you do? Who are you working with?
So I work with, right now I'm working with a nonprofit, but usually it's to help with some sort of change. So my expertise is in change management, transformation, marketing, strategy work. I've done other things, you know, even project management, which is very left brain, but part of what really I'm coming full circle now to be able to help companies be more conscious. And so there's this whole movement around conscious capitalism. When you distill it down, conscious capitalism is around creating an organization around a specific purpose, and then really helping the leaders and the employees be authentic in who they are. So when I think about it now, it's like, oh yeah, this is why the divine was guiding me in this way. So I can now go back into these environments and teach, the marriage of that left and right brain. And I had the opportunity, I've been doing these workshops at this organization. They're going through a lot of change. And I asked the sponsor, I said, can I do some of what I do, some of my magic, and bring in a visualization, and learning what terms to use that'll be acceptable in a corporate environment. So it's kind of like a guided meditation, right? But using the term visualization, people know what that is. Athletes use visualization all the time. So I was doing a workshop, and I did several of these, and there were different levels of people, some senior people, and then some of the staff that were involved in this change. And I had them all envision. We did a short guided meditation. They needed to create some guiding principles in the workshop. So I did a guided meditation to help them envision, like, what would this environment look like if they were already doing this new model that they were being asked to do? What would it be working with their colleagues? What would it be like working with their customers? What would it be like working for this organization? And it was amazing. Every single person closed their eyes. I was looking at the group and just in gratitude that I was there now, coming from a different perspective of when I started my career years ago, and being able to bring this element of visualization, which was helping them tap into a deeper part of themselves, so that when I broke them up into teams, they could collaborate in a different way. And one guy said to me, like, he actually took a little bit longer to come back into his body. He said, oh my God, I had these amazing visions of being with the teams and us doing all these wonderful things. And another person said to me, oh my God, I just saw all these wonderful things happening for this organization. It was so uplifting, I think surprising for them, because they had never done this before. And I was grateful that they allowed me to do this. And I also knew that this was the beginning of what I was bringing back into corporate environments, of bringing this light part, this right brain part, this spirit part, and making it something that is not woo-woo or taboo, that it actually helps teams be more innovative, right? Helps them tap into something deeper. It helps them be more of themselves in an environment. And I know that this organization wants that. So it really is, I am in awe at the orchestration, because sometimes we think like, okay, where is this heading? Where is this leading? And I always tell my clients, we are just being asked to surrender, allow, receive. We're not always going to see the finish line. We're not going to see the end point. We'll get glimpses of it. But the more we surrender to the process and just be who we are in the moment, we are opening the doorway for others to do the same, to then move forward into deeper places, into deeper awareness of who they really are and what they're here to do. So I am just in awe of where I am now, of the orchestration from the divine, of all these puzzle pieces coming together. So when you talked about, me bringing a person's soul, the aspects of their soul together, it is this canvas that I'm doing it for organizations as well. Like, what does that canvas look like for their organization? And what are other elements of how we can do things to bring more of that into play, be it the person's, deeper gifts that they have that maybe they've been afraid to share at work, their ability to tap into something more to help them be more creative, more innovative.
So have you had reason to connect with an author she's running in the same circle that we are, named Olivia Parr Rudd.
I have not.
I recommend you do that because she similarly came from corporate America. She has, her last book was on, it was about bringing the heart back into the work, well, back into bringing the heart into the workplace. I don't think it was ever there. But the combination of the work that you do in connection with the work that she does, I can so see the two of you combining together and really hitting corporate America from a heart soul perspective. That's very exciting to me. I'll share her information with you afterwards, but
Thank you.
very cool. Very cool. One of the things that you did for me was, it was a bit of a sound healing. Would
Yes.
you be interested in sharing something like that with our listeners?
Absolutely. So we can do a little guided meditation, and really we'll focus on the heart space, because that is really, I know what I'm here to do too, is to help restore love. And so we can focus on that. And let me just explain a little bit about what I do. I use my voice. One of the reasons I call myself a modern day shaman, and shamans tend to travel through different planes of consciousness to help release energies, and they do soul retrievals and all sort of that thing. But just to keep it simple, that one of the elements a lot of shamans use is their voice or an instrument, and use sound as a way to open the doorway for whatever alchemy needs to happen within your body. So I have a crystal bowl next to me here, which I'm going to use, and I will do a little guided meditation as I'm playing the bowl, and probably will make some sounds. Sometimes I sing lyrics, whatever it is that we're guided. And just asking the listeners to, if you can, to close your eyes and sit in a place where you have quiet, so you can really receive this in the best way.
Perfect. Great. Thank you.
You're welcome. So we're going to start by taking some deep breaths into your heart center. And as you're breathing, I just want you to imagine that the breath is moving from the top of your head all the way down through your feet. Breathing in and holding that breath, and then exhaling out. And as you're doing that, setting an intention for whatever it is you want to receive in this moment. You can think of something maybe that you're feeling physically in your body. Maybe there's a particular problem that you're dealing with now. And we're just asking the divine and your soul to support you in receiving whatever you need to receive to help you release what's in the way in this moment. So continuing to breathe into your heart and bringing whatever that situation or problem is into your heart center. If it's something you're feeling physically in your body, then bring your awareness to that part of your body. And we're inviting in our spiritual teams and guides, inviting in your divine self, the aspect of you through which your soul communicates with you, bringing them very present into your space so you can feel their presence with you, holding you, loving you, guiding you. And I want you to just imagine that there's this beautiful stream of pink light just hovering over your head right now. And it's going to start to enter through the center of your head and travel down into your heart space. And just feeling that beautiful pink light just swirling around all your heart and beginning to move through your body and going to all the places within you where there may be some tension or some energy that needs to be alchemized in this moment. And imagining this pink light streaming through your etheric body, your spiritual body, your mental body, emotional body, physical body, all receiving this light. And we're inviting in the Ascended Master Saint Germain into this space. And he's bringing in the violet flame to help you alchemize and transmute whatever's in the way. So just imagine this beautiful violet flame beginning to engulf your heart and expanding out and out and out until it engulfs your entire body. And as this is happening, I'm going to bring some sound and some soul language into this. Inetare tu sohundish ares untis ae. Olerandit ush irenda otis ae rondit ae. Releasing, aligning, awakening the parts of you now that are ready to step into a new vibration, a new energy of your existence, the you that is already there, embracing and embodying a deeper aspect of your soul, of who you are. And the light rises in your heart. You are showered in the light that you are. You come home again to the truth of you. Yera na o na 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 e. Yera na o na 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 e ya e. Hara e na o e. Ya e ya e e. just allowing the codes of light to awaken within your field, within your body, within your core essence. Embracing and embodying all that you are. Allowing these codes of light to lift you, to hold you in a new place of being. Initarit ush alerundit irit ait ush orin. And so it is. We seal your field in all of that so you may have it continue working with you over the next several days. We thank all the beautiful beings of light that are with us. As you begin to bring your awareness back into your body, feeling yourself more present wherever you may be sitting. 5, more present. 4, more present. 3, more present. 2, more present. And 1, fully present in your body.
Wow. Thank you, Anumani. That was beautiful. It felt like such a rich combination of shamanism and energy work and channeling and divine light. It was like a delicious smorgasbord right there in one session. Thank you for sharing that with us.
You are very welcome. My pleasure.
Wow. I just want to sit in that for a minute. So let me just recap. So Anumani is a co-author of Pebbles in the Pond, Transforming the World One Person at a Time, and your own book, Unmasking Your Soul, which I can't wait to read personally. And just a couple more quick questions. What are you looking forward to in the future? Where is your path leading you at this point?
Looking to support, right now I'm focusing more on the corporate environments. I'm still doing individual coaching, so I have coaching clients and aspire to continue doing that. I look forward to taking my work internationally, being able to speak more in different places. I have a group of workshops that I've been doing that focus on the work in my book. They're called Coming Back Home to Self, and there's a couple of levels of it. And I am being guided to start writing again. My book is actually a trilogy, so I still have 2 more books in the trilogy to write, and more books, I believe. So really just following the flow of this beautiful harmony that I'm feeling within me, of this embodiment, a deeper embodiment of my soul and my human aspect, and being that for people, be it in a corporate environment or in a workshop setting. I want to do retreats and, like I said, speak around the world, but taking it one step at a time and allowing the unfolding to happen naturally, and just enjoy my time working with people, my time here on this earth plane, and just letting love guide the way.
That's beautiful. And the best way for folks to connect with you is at your website. Is that right? They can connect with you there. So www.anumanispeaks.com. That's beautiful. And Anumani, do you have any last thoughts you'd like to leave with us today?
Just want to reiterate that everything in this moment is divinely perfect, even if it doesn't seem so to you, and to just honor who you are, what you've done, and continue to allow the divine to guide you, that it's going to take you to a place of that harmony that I speak of. I'm sure many of you already feel part of that harmony, and it just continues to expand and expand within us. You let that that for me, it's just this beautiful, overwhelming love that I feel. Just even I was telling a friend of mine, hearing the sound of the ethers in my heart, in my head, and in my body, and allowing that connection that you have with the divine to take you to that space, wherever that may be, because we all have our own truths that are meant to be discovered again, knowledge that is already there, wisdom that you already hold. I know that if you're listening to this, then you are part of the group that is here to help others awaken and expand and embody who they are. And so I honor each and every one of you. I thank you for saying yes to your soul and doing this work so that we together can help shift the consciousness and help ascend this planet.
You know, I'm just being inundated with a particular color right now, and it just feels like it's you at this moment right now. It's really a beautiful, it's like a mustardy yellow copper, and it's just beautiful, and it's rich. And I have been feeling that with you. Actually, the last time I spoke with you, I felt it too. So I just think that there's some real healing in that color coming through right now. At least for me.
Thank you.
Yeah, well, so folks, that's all that we've got time for tonight. I want to thank you so much for being with us, and for our light worker tonight, Anumani Santos, for joining us. And thank you, Anumani, so much.
My pleasure and honor to be with you here all. Thank you.
So to our listeners, I would say thank you for listening in. It is always a pleasure to have you with us. It is truly my honor to be among the hosts of Enlightened World Network. So good night all, and God bless.